Chapter 7. Chef Lillo burst into La Abuela's cottage, dropping his climbing harness and his scuba tank in the middle of the floor. He looked around the dim room. "Where is she, you little crepe?" Stanley shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "I don't know," he said, shrugging. The chef walked over to the lumpy bed. "You cannot fool Chef Lulu," he said. "She is hiding beneath these covers." He whisked the blankets off. Nothing. He held a finger in the air. "She is in the closet." He bounded over to a wardrobe and threw it open. Empty. "She's gone," Stanley said. "I came all this way, just like you, and she's not even here." He pointed to the scrape on his leg and frowned. "Now I can barely walk." "Do not look for sympathy from moi," Chef Lillo waved his hand in the air. "After that woman on the pyramid, I have more bruises than an overripe tomato." He scanned the room one more time. "I do not care," he said, sticking his nose in the air. "Outside is an entire field of La Abuela's secret ingredient. I have spent 9 years seeking perfection, and now I have found it. I will be the greatest chef in history." He marched into the field, leaving the door wide open. Stanley leaned forward to see. Chef Lillo bent down, plucked a green leaf, and held it up to his nose. He inhaled deeply. "Chef," called Patrice the saucier, "do you smell what I smell?" The chef furrowed his brow. "This smells like common coriander." "No, not coriander," said Ronaldo. "It's cilantro, I think." "Coriander and cilantro are the same thing, you fool," Chef Lillo cried. "It is the most common spice in all of Mexican cooking." "This isn't the secret ingredient," he choked. And with that, the great Chef Lillo of Bourgeron burst into tears. "No, no, 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 no," he whimpered. "No, no, no, no. Do not cry, Chef," Patrice said as he patted Lillo's shoulder. "We can still make a unique pesto." "I just want to go home to my restaurant," the chef blubbered. "That sounds like a good idea," said Ronaldo gently. Ronaldo and Patrice put the chef's arms around their shoulders. Together, the three of them walked out of the field to return to France at last. Stanley waited until he could no longer hear voices. Then he carefully peeled himself from his chair and turned around. "Are you okay?" he asked La Abuela, whom he had been covering the entire time. She nodded, a smile breaking across her face. She burst into laughter and leaped from the chair. Together, she and Stanley did a little dance. She finished by kissing him wetly on the cheek. Stanley pointed out the door. "So that's not the secret ingredient?" Abuela giggled. "The secret is not the ingredient," she said in her broken English. "It is what you do with it." Her eyes sparkled. Stanley suddenly understood. It was La Abuela who had told Carmen the secret that made her a great matador. La Abuela walked into the field and plucked a handful of cilantro from the ground. She took Stanley's hand, turned it palms up, and placed the herbs on the flat of his arm. Then she took his other arm and pressed it on top of the first. "Now," she said, "rub as hard as you can. I will get the salt." She ran inside. Stanley started rubbing. His arms got hot with friction. Suddenly, Stanley smelled something familiar. It was a smell he knew from his mother's kitchen. It was the smell of his last breakfast at home. Stanley breathed deeply. It was the most delicious smell he had ever known. Chapter 8. The Last Bullfight.